If you're new to vegetable gardening, there are a handful of mistakes that a lot of people make. I know I've made a bunch of them myself. Some of them cost time, some cost money, and some can make you want to quit altogether. But I'm here to go through those with you and to tell you how to avoid them. A lot of new gardeners start thinking about their garden and they're looking online and they see these big, beautiful gardens with tons of raised beds or trellises and fences, and those gardens are really aspirational. What I've learned is starting small is a much better way to go. You learn the process, you learn the techniques, you learn how the season flows. A 4x8 garden can produce a lot of food, whereas if you put in a big garden and you're not used to the work, the weeding, the watering, the harvesting, what to do with all that produce, come July and August, that is a recipe for failure, and we want you to succeed. So start small and build your way up. So mistake number one is starting too big. I've grown artichokes and I've grown Swiss chard. Both of them are beautiful and look great on Instagram or on social media. But the fact of the matter is artichokes take up a lot of real estate, and here in Zone 5 out of Chicago, the crop really isn't that big. Swiss chard, it's beautiful, but I don't eat it enough to justify more than one plant per year going forward. It's a lesson that I've learned. So that's mistake number two, growing food that you don't actually eat. The garden should work for you. You're not working for the garden. Vegetable gardens need a lot of sunlight. That's 6+ hours of direct sun per day. So if you have trees or fences or buildings, that can impact the amount of sun. If you take away anything else from this video, sun first, everything else second. So that brings us to mistake number three, putting the garden in the wrong spot. I see it all the time. People set up a garden that works well on paper, but when it comes time to water, they're either carrying heavy watering cans back and forth or wrestling with hoses across their property. If watering's a pain, and it's the end of the day, and it's July and August, and I keep mentioning those months, but those are the big months right before the tsunami of food starts, and you're skipping your watering and you're just not doing a great job doing it, the garden's going to suffer. Gardens don't need perfect watering. What they need is consistent watering. Consistent access to moisture helps the garden grow its very best. So that's mistake number four, making watering difficult. Convenience is not a luxury when it comes to watering your garden. It's good planning. After the sun, soil is probably the most important element in your garden. You may have to build it up yourself. So that's mistake number five, not paying enough attention to your soil. The good news is that building your soil isn't complicated. It just takes time, but it's worth the effort because it'll reward you in the long run. Everything looks small when you plant it. Seedlings, seeds. The instinct can be to plant things really close together, but you want to make sure that you're doing this intentionally. That is, read the packet and look at the spacing on the packet for the seeds or seedlings. They're there for a reason. Now, they may be set up for row gardening and not necessarily intensive raised beds, but you can still pay attention to the spacing in terms of distance between plants. It's a little bit nuanced, but it's helpful to know. A little bit of space with airflow gives the plants enough room to get nutrients out of the soil, and the good airflow around the foliage helps reduce problems with fungal or mold or diseases in the plants. So that's mistake number six, not spacing your plants correctly. A lot of gardeners think that watering their plants a little bit every day is a good thing. Well, it's not really a great thing for a vegetable garden. What you want to do is to water them consistently, but more deeply. You see, if you water every day a little bit, all you're doing is wetting the very top of the soil, and that encourages lateral root growth. If you have a drought, or if you go on vacation and there's no one to water the plants for you, and it's really hot, those plants will suffer because their roots are in the upper layer of the soil. If you train them to chase the moisture downwards, then you are growing more resilient plants. So water your vegetable garden consistently, about an inch a week. You can break that up into 2 different sessions. I do mine in 2 different sessions a week, so I'm using my irrigation system 2 times a week to give each bed about a ½ inch of water. So that's mistake number 7, watering the wrong way. You don't need anything fancy. A soaker hose, your drip line irrigation works, or just be very patient watering. And remember, when you're watering the vegetables, water the soil, not the plants. The goal isn't to do everything perfectly. It's just to do the best we can and avoid the mistakes that I have learned and that I'm passing on to you. My Planning Your First Garden series will go into much more detail on these and other topics. So save this for later, and I'll catch you next time.